lockdown, Premier, you've made it clear that it's likely to continue, but what day this week will you actually make an announcement, and then will it be open-ended?
Yeah, can I say that I'm hoping to make an announcement today or Thursday at the latest in relation to the future of the lockdown. And can I, for a second, pause and thank all the mums and dads who are at home and support, and the teachers and the students who are homeschooling from today. I know what a big sacrifice that is and what a challenge it is for many families and school communities, and I just wanted to acknowledge and thank everybody for that. We will, of course, as a government, take the health experts' advice on what we announce as the next stage of the lockdown beyond Friday. And as I've said before, as Dr Chant has said and the Minister has said, I'd love to have a crystal ball to say exactly when the end date will be. That's up to all of us in part. When we get that 21 number of at least 21 people who've been infectious in the community as close to zero as possible is when we'll be able to exit the lockdown, and that's the target we need to aim for. We're not looking at the overall number of cases, although that's very important for us to understand what the virus is doing. But the number that we really worry about are the number of people walking around in the community with the virus. And unless that gets down to zero or close to zero, we can't get out of the lockdown. And that's why it's important for all of us to know that our actions can impact others. Because if we have information that there's people with the virus that have been in the community, that means chains of transmission could exist we don't know about. And again, I've said this a few times, but I just want to stress to everybody at home, this Delta variant, as we call it, this variant of the virus has a life of its own. It's more contagious. It moves around in different ways than we've ever seen before. And in the Australian context, we're learning a lot as to what it does. And it is a very transmissible virus. And so, for example, previously, whether it was the Crossroads cluster or the Avalon cluster, because it was a different strain of the virus, we were able to do things differently. We were able to lift the lockdown after a certain stage. We were able to limit it to a certain part of Sydney. But because this is so transmissible, the risk is so much greater. And that's why we're treating this lockdown, that's why we're treating this virus differently, because it's a game changer. It's very different to what we've seen before, which is why we have to treat it differently. You can't really compare the way we're dealing with it now to previous strains because they've had a different result and a different impact.
Premier, there's a school in Chester Hill, close to Fairfield, that's requiring all students tomorrow to attend to do HSC trials. Is that something that concerns you?
Well, can I just give a huge shout out to the New South Wales Education Department for their outstanding work, and they've been working closely with the Catholic schools and also the independent schools. We know that the Education Department, in consultation with Health, are making special provisions for HSC students, and I think all of us would understand and accept that.